that truck. The Wellman family, father and son team, they've driven it for years. They brought their nephew into this thing. Eldon Depew will be the new driver for this truck. The truck is proven. We're going to find out about the driver. That's the newness of the sport. The old part of the sport is Nick Rossi. You know the name Rossi. He came out of New Jersey. He used to drive the Jersey Outlaw. He's going back into the driver's seat. Rossi still believes, Gary Lee, he's got the right stuff and can be competitive with these young guys.
Well, we'll have side-by-side monster truck competition from the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis, coming up next. But he will take on the Giant, the seventh fastest qualifier in round one. Also King Crunch, matched up against Nightmare. Also matched up in round one will be Torres, with Eldon Depew against Tropical Thunder, Wayne Smozanik, and the Outlaw, the fourth fastest qualifier, against Wild Thing. Once again, a 12-truck format here at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Micro Machine will be up against Bad Medicine in round one, and then Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher and Colt Cobra in Snakebite.
Gary, it's kind of interesting because all the major manufacturers are represented. Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet, GMC, they're all here. And the people that sit in these grandstands are used to seeing some good racing, as you noted a moment ago, with the open wheel racing that normally comes here. But we're on the infield now. We're going about 350 feet. Time to show and tell, isn't it, Gary Lee?
A new truck here against an old truck, Giant. That is Kirk Dabney, now calls Fort Wayne, Indiana home, originally out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. He goes up against the St. Louis-based Bigfoot and Andy Brass, and it's all Bigfoot.
Yeah, real quick, suspension is the name of the game. Dabney had his hands full, wanted a high side and what have you. Meanwhile, Bigfoot goes out in the right lane and just literally airs it out, absorbs the energy. He's got to be a happy camper.
Well, here is a look at the new technology, the tube-frame truck. Now watch the suspension work on Bigfoot, and you can see Giant hop up in the back, and that's the major difference right there. As Bigfoot takes the victory, Andy Brass is down with Army.
Andy, there's got to be a good and a bad track, but when you draw number one, how do you make that determination?
Well, that's just what's hard to do. You know, we was trying to watch the track in qualifying and then pick a lane on the first run here. We picked the lane we qualified in. We're just going to sit back now and kind of watch it. We hope we run fast enough this round to give us lane choice in the next round. Like I say, we'll just sit back, watch the lanes, and see how they work.
So as Andy Brass walks back to the paddock area, we take a look at the auto value King Crunch of Scott Stevens out of Spring, Texas. It's been a tough season for Scott. He's been upside down a number of times trying to turn that season around as he goes up against Steve Hess. Steve Hoosier from Columbia City, Indiana, and he drives Nightmare.
Well, Hess will be driving under the banner of the PENDA Corporation. They make some of the finest bedliners in the world. Meanwhile, Auto Values supports Scott Stevens. So we do have corporate involvement here. Whoa, Hess drilled him on the line. Can Stevens pull him back? No, he's not going to do it, Gary.
You can see the old suspension work, but he had the horsepower to pull it out.
Exactly.
He got the whole shot. And Steve Hess takes the victory in Nightmare. So the GMC will have to face off with Bigfoot in the quarterfinals. Look again. There's the whole shot, but watch the stiff suspension.
Well, both drivers are literally having to drive these trucks all the way. And then when they land, you just hold on.
Army, let's talk to Steve Hess.
Well, some people might have called that an upset. I don't think that's the game. You've played it a long time. You're coming around, aren't you? You're finding a handle.
Yeah, the truck has been doing real good. You know, this is the last race for this truck. And we've worked real hard to get it where it's at, and we'll be back with a new truck hopefully within the next race we'll be at.
Be stepping up with the GMC brand again?
Yes, right. With the Hydromatic GMC PENDA truck, we'll be back next time with a new one, we hope.
Well, coming up next is a truck they should rename All in the Family. This is Eldon Depew. He is a nephew of Jack Willman Sr., the owner of the truck. We've seen Jack's son, Jack Jr. drive, so everyone in the family gets a shot at driving Torres, and he goes up against Wayne Smozanik, the Chevrolet from Jupiter, Florida, called Tropical Thunder.
Gary, I wonder what the Willman family talk about at family reunions like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Sit around and talk about monsters.
How tender the turkey is.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, we got a race, Gary. Look at this. Hey,
wow, but Depew takes the victory in Torres. So the nephew turns in a good ride here. I just wonder how they determine who actually drives the truck.
Knowing these guys, it could be with the flip
a coin.
Exactly.
So Torres advances as he will send Wayne Smozanik to the trailer.
Smozanik comes to the sport from drag racing. His reaction time showed us that.
Yeah, but it was horsepower over reaction time. Here's Eldon.
Eldon coming into the driver's seat of one of the toughest trucks on the circuit. Does that put a whole lot more pressure on you? You know, it doesn't seem that way from the outer.
No, it's not really a whole lot of pressure because these new design trucks, they're real smooth, real easy to drive. You know, you got to have some driving ability, but Jack Willman drives an excellent truck.
Okay, now, but Jack Willman's not driving that truck today. You are. How does it feel to you?
It feels excellent. You know, he designed it, he's happy with it, and I'm happy driving.
We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
So Eldon Depew drives Torres here this afternoon. A good crowd on hand at the Indiana State Fairgrounds in Indianapolis. And here is the Outlaw, Nick Rossi, back in the driver's seat out of New Jersey. And he will go up against Wild Thing, Jim Booker, out of St. James, Missouri.
Well, Booker's trying to work his way through his freshman year in the sport. He runs a rear motor type setup. Meanwhile, the Outlaw, they say once you learn how to ride a bicycle, you never forget. Let's see if Rossi knows how to ride a monster truck. Yeah, he's still got it, doesn't he, Gary?
Well, Rossi's like the old gunslinger who's been off the dusty trail for a while, but he's back.
He's going to smack this new kid around and show him who's boss is what he did right there.
Well, he gunned him down right here on the start. Booker has a problem immediately getting over that first set of cars. No problem for Nick Rossi. The Outlaw takes the victory. Here's Army.
Nick, you're back in the driver's seat. How's it feel to you out there?
It feels real good. Feels real comfortable. I'm ready.
You're still an attack driver, aren't you?
Yeah, we're trying.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Round one competition now continues with the Micro Machine. Bob Breen, the Breen Brothers racing team out of Eldon, Missouri. And he lines up against Don Van Loo, another Jefferson City, Missouri veteran in Bad Medicine. A couple of show-me state drivers here.
Well, you got a Chrysler-powered vehicle in Van Loo. You got a Chevrolet-powered Micro Machine. Both of them live about 20 miles from each other. Who you draw in the first round?
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, the Micro Machine picks up the victory in no man's land. That's where he got it. The horsepower in that flat section between the two sections of cars.
He had to pull it out in mid-range because Van Loo was running him hard. You know, it's kind of interesting. You know what this guy does for a hobby when he's not driving monster trucks? Like some old Harley motorcycles. He gets out and rides around the Missouri mountains on them.
Well, that Harley rider takes the victory here, and he's standing by now with Army Armstrong.
Well, Bob Bremen, you've been away from the driver's seat for a while, but it doesn't seem like you lost a thing.
Nah, I kept up with the sport pretty much, watching it on TV at home, and I always went out on the road with my brother a few times, didn't get to drive, but I watched him and worked on the truck. Just kept, you know, kind of kept practice like that, watching the other drivers, so I kind of see how if they were changing their techniques or anything, so I keep up with it. And then I could start driving again all here a while back, and I don't know, John said, well, once you start driving a race truck, you want to stay home and start booking some more shows. Here I am.
Well, I'm glad to hear that he says someone watches us on TV when he's not racing.
Well, here is the Carolina Crusher with Gary Porter, and no one knows. They call him Colt Cobra in the snake bite.
460 cubic inch blower drive service engine in the snake bite. That's about all we know about this truck. On the far lane, Gary Porter, one of the nicest guys in the sport, but Porter left second in this race. Can he pull it back mid-range? Yes. Look at here, Gary.
Look at the horsepower. You can see the flash bulbs going off in the background. That was sheer horsepower because the reaction time went to snake bite.
Well, that was like an interior lineman. He got down and got after it at mid-track. Watch this. Snake bite definitely out there. Now Porter
lifts the front end, and he takes the victory, and Gary now is with Army Armstrong.
Gary, isn't it wonderful that there's a second half to a racetrack?
It sure is, because my alarm clock wasn't working that run, and I was sleeping bad at the line. And, you know, luckily, you know, I had enough power and, you know, big enough motor and everything to get me, you know, going between the two sets of cars. Other than that, snake bite would have beat me.
I'll tell you what, he laid a shot on you on the line. You're around, though. We'll watch you in that next round.
Okay, thank you.
That wraps up round one competition. We're coming back for the quarterfinals from Indianapolis, Indiana.